What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters Allstar video, and today we are going to be doing another beginner's guide. However, this one might be a little bit more interesting to you veteran players as well, as we will be deep diving on a topic that has been highly requested here on the channel, and that is going to be hammers and how to acquire them. So before we jump into all of that and more, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's go ahead and talk about all things enhancement hammers. So before we jump into all the details, I do want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. In the interest of making sure that this guide has as much longevity and as long as of a lifespan as humanly possible, I am not going to be covering limited time events, meaning I am not going to be covering any events that may give hammers out that may be ending in any amount of time. So for instance, this super mission here is a good example, being that this super mission is not a permanent way of acquiring hammers. I will not be covering it, and again, that is to ensure that this guide is relevant a month or 2 months down the road. So I'm only going to be covering things that are going to be permanent in the game where you can acquire these types of items. So that is the first disclaimer that I wanted to go ahead and get out of the way before we jump into all of this. But let's go ahead and talk about the first topic here, which is of course going to be, for those of you who may be new to the game, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about what hammers are. So let's go ahead and look at all the different types of hammers and discuss what the differences are. So as you can see here, there are going to be 4 main types of hammers in the game. However, only 3 of them are typically going to be farmable. So the first type is going to be your common enhancement hammer. And what a common enhancement hammer is it's going to be able to increase your imprint stones levels between 1 and 4. So basically you will be able to increase your imprint stones up to level 4 using these types of hammers, but after that you will have to go over and start using your uncommon enhancement hammers, which will then be able to get your stones up to level 6, and then you will have to go ahead and start using gold hammers, at which point gold hammers are going to be the last hammer that you really should need in order to max out any particular imprint stone. So beyond that, there is one other type of hammer that is permanent. However, it is very rare that you will have instances where you can farm this type of hammer, as this type of hammer is typically going to be given away during events or in packages in the in-game shop. But they call these elite enhancement hammers, and what these guys here can do, and the benefit of these, is they will increase the odds of your imprint stone leveling up just that much more per hammer, so you get a lot more bang for your buck with these. And we'll go ahead and we will show you guys kind of a perfect example of what I'm referring to here. But let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of other miscellaneous things that may confuse new players, but you'll see that there are 2 other types of hammers that I have here, and what these types of hammers are going to be your limited time hammers that are going to be specifically made for the stones for specific events. So for instance, these here are only going to be usable on the 7 Knights collaboration stones. And then you will also see that these are going to be exclusive to the 7 Deadly Sins stones. And typically these types of hammers are only going to be able to level your stones up from levels 1 to 6, and then you will have to go on and start using either gold or the elite enhancement hammers, which are going to be your purple hammers. So these guys here typically are going to be things that you're going to have very limited uses on, and then will eventually have their time run out and be kind of taken out of your inventory, which definitely keep in mind, guys, being that this is going to be the last day that you can use these for your 7 Deadly Sins stones. Make sure that you use these before they go away. It's kind of strange that these guys here have never run out, but I digress. Now, there is one other type of item that we're going to go ahead and cover before we move on from this topic, and that is going to be the Imprint Stone Unpairing Kit. So the Imprint Stone Unpairing Kit can unpair imprint stones from a character, and without making this an imprint stone guide, what basically that means is whenever you pair an imprint stone to a character, that imprint stone is then paired with them permanently until you use one of these little spark plugs in order to unpair it. Now keep in mind that this is only going to work on your normal imprint stones. it is not going to work on any of your R stones, which if you do not know the difference between your stones, I am going to be doing an imprint stone guide at some point here in the very near future, so stay tuned. But those are going to be your main items. So let's go ahead and show you guys how hammers work. Alright you guys, so next up I want to show you how you use your enhancement hammers. So first things first, as you can see here, we've got a blank stone. It is going to be level 0, and we're going to go ahead and show you how to level it up. So first and foremost, as you can see here, if you use a common hammer to level up this stone, it is going to have a 50% success rate to level up this stone from level 0 to level 1. Now, if we were to go to an uncommon hammer, that will increase our success rate to 75%, and then finally with the gold enhancement hammer, it will have a 100% success rate. And these success rates are going to drop with each consecutive level that you level up your stone to. So, for instance, if I wanted to go ahead and I will use the 7 Deadly Sins hammers in order to show you this, if I wanted to go ahead and take this stone to level 3, as you'll see here, the success rate each time it levels up drops. However, each time I use a hammer, that success rate goes up again by a small percentage. Now, usually, if you are using your regular hammers, that percentage rate that it goes up each time a hammer is unsuccessful is less and less than some of the higher tier hammers. So, for instance, I have a 35% success rate if I use this hammer. However, if I go over to my uncommon hammers, I have a 15% success rate, and then I have a 5% success rate with my common hammers. Whereas with my rare enhancement hammers, those are going to share the same success rate as these collab central hammers. So that is kind of how this works. Each time you use a hammer and it is unsuccessful, you are going to get a small increase to the success rate of your potential level up. And that is kind of why, as you can see, it is tough with hammers a lot of the time to have enough of them to max out stones. And being that stones are some of the most important things to a character's level and performance in the game at this point, you definitely need a ton of these things, and there are not a lot of great ways in the game in order to acquire hammers. So what I'm going to go ahead and do in today's video, and kind of the central focus of this video, is going to be around how you get these hammers, where you can acquire them, whether it is through drop rates for random RNG, whether it is for just prizes that you get for clearing specific content, or using your in-game currency to purchase these types of things. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys all the different ways that you can get your hammers in the King of Fighters Allstar. And the first place that I want to go ahead and start is in the secret shop, because this is going to be a very good way in the beginning. New players can grind these very quickly. So basically, if you take a look at the secret shop here, you're going to see that we have uncommon enhancement hammers available, and it is going to cost us 400,000 gold in order to purchase 2 of these. So as you can see here, these are going to be on a refresh a couple times a day. So for those of you who are unaware, these are going to refresh 4 times a day, meaning that you can technically purchase these hammers at this price up to 4 times in a given day. So basically, this is going to refresh every 6 hours starting at 12 a.m. Eastern, and then it is therefore going to reset again at 6 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. Eastern. You'll have to adjust accordingly for whatever your time zone is. But basically, this is a really good way for you to get these hammers here. So my recommendation to you guys is to purchase these each and every single time they are available each day. And that is going to be the first easy way for you to acquire hammers in this game. The next way that I recommend that you guys get these, and this is also going to be a way that you can get these through just exchanging in-game currency, is going to be in your exchange shop. So as you can see here, we have the Rite of Passage exchange shop, and you'll see that you can buy your common, uncommon, and rare enhancement hammers using the coins that you acquire from playing Rite of Passage every day. Now, yes, this does require you to be able to play Rite of Passage, which I know a lot of people don't enjoy Rite of Passage. It isn't a game mode that they enjoy doing daily. However, the biggest selling point of the Rite of Passage event is to get these hammers here through this exchange shop. Now, you can get the common enhancement hammers and the uncommon enhancement hammers daily. However, these rare enhancement hammers are going to only refresh weekly. So you can buy 3 of these a week. You'll need 1,500 coin to do so. Honestly, you're probably not going to be buying these here because, to be honest with you, getting rite of passage coins to accumulate very quickly is very tough. So typically what you're going to be doing is more so focusing on your common and uncommon hammers. So that'd be my recommendation there, but really it just comes down to what your priorities are. Some people who are new might even prefer to buy these square passage boxes or these hexagon passage boxes or what have you, but honestly my recommendation when you're new is just to focus on the hammers, because like I've said already, it can be tough to acquire some of these coins in a quick amount of time, so you're probably just going to be better off getting some of these hammers daily, like the common ones and so on and so forth. But do keep in mind that these are available here in this section if you need them every day. So that is another option that you have for hammers, but let's go ahead and talk about other ways that we can do this that are going to require us to farm, and some of these are going to be endgame content, but in the interest of being complete and concise, I am going to be showing you guys every single avenue here that I can. So let's go ahead and talk about ways to farm these hammers in-game. So the first and best way that you can grind hammers in the King of Fighters Allstar is going to be in your Team Relay Challenge, and it doesn't matter which boss it is that you're looking at here, they're all going to have the same loot that they drop. But if we take a look at the rewards here, as you can see, for depending on what score you're able to achieve in these different modes, you'll get different amounts and different types of hammers, going all the way up to the final reward, which is going to be 6 golden hammers. Now these 6 golden hammers here, if you do the math on this and you're able to fully clear an immortal each and every single day, you're basically looking at 42 gold hammers a week, which is a really nice amount. That is why I say that this is probably the best way to grind hammers in the game, because it is guaranteed that you'll get these, as opposed to some of the other events that we're going to talk about and some of the other missions where it's going to more so come down to your luck and your RNG based on loot boxes. So that is going to be one of the best possible ways to do this. Now, I realize that this is content that largely is tough for new players, so if you are a player that is unable to get through these things, don't feel too bad. It's not that big of a deal. You'll eventually work your way up to these sorts of things and be able to get these types of rewards more frequently. My suggestion is just to do as best you can, because no matter what you score on here, you're going to at least get something from the drops here as far as hammers are concerned. So my recommendation, definitely do this as many times a week as you possibly can. Try to make sure that you do this daily. It doesn't matter what you're able to score, as long as you're doing it. Eventually you'll be able to do better. You're going to be able to probably do better on certain immortals versus others in the beginning anyway. So that is going to be my recommendation on the first tip in order to be able to farm these hammers, is to do your immortal dungeons every single day. Now the next method I'm going to show you guys is also something that you can grind on a daily basis, and it's going to be in the Advent dungeon, and that is going to be the Hall of Elements dungeon. So basically, if you take a look here at your details and take a look at what your drops are for your prizes for this, you're going to see that this last stage here can give you the rare enhancement hammers as well as the uncommon enhancement hammers. And then if you actually go all the way up here, all the way back to the first stage, and take a look at the rewards here, these are going to give you the common ones, and these are basically going to scale depending on which stage that you can clear on a daily basis. So my recommendation, no matter what stage of the game that you're in, make sure that you're doing this every day. There's a lot of reasons why you should be clearing these every day, and it's not that big of a time investment. You can just do your auto clear and be done with it. But you want to make sure that you're doing this every day, and it doesn't matter if you can't get to the final stage. It doesn't matter what level you are in the game. Just try to do your best and do as much of this as you can, and eventually you'll be able to work your way up to these final stages, like I mentioned with the Immortal Dungeon before this. But as you'll see here, go ahead and skip ticket this, and I'll show you guys the drops. So, as you can see here, we did get one gold enhancement hammer. Now, this is a little bit lesser of a good option than the Immortals. I had already mentioned that the Immortal tends to be the best dungeon for you to be able to grind these hammers, for the reason being that you are guaranteed the amount that is listed for the reward info, whereas this is going to be on a random drop. As you can see here, I was able to get one hammer on the first run, but on the second run, I did not get any hammers. So this isn't guaranteed that you're going to get these, but it is worth trying to make sure that you do this every single day so that you can get some of these hammers that this drops, and those will accumulate pretty quickly over the course of a week. So that is going to be the next method that you can use in order to farm these. But what about other methods that are going to be a little less succinct and a little less guaranteed? Well, there are loot boxes in the game that are able to drop hammers as well, and you can acquire these from several different avenues and modes in the game, and I want to go ahead and point those out to you guys now. So the first area that you're going to be able to potentially get hammers from loot boxes is going to be in no one's favorite mode at all whatsoever, the Mecha Spider B1000. So I know that this requires you guys to play through this. I don't like doing it either. I try to avoid doing this as often as humanly possible, but if you guys are tight for hammers and you need hammers in a really extreme way, you can do it through this method. Now, basically what you're going to need to do, and I believe they start dropping at, let me see here, I believe that we can get, yes. So you're going to be able to get your common enhancement hammers from these loot boxes, starting out, I do believe, on the second stage of boxes, although I don't know that, yes. So basically you can start getting your common and your uncommons starting here. I'm not sure if the first box here gives them, because currently there's some sort of visual glitch. No matter what I do, you can't see it. I believe that this does have a chance of dropping common hammers though, just not your uncommons. I believe your uncommons start with your second tier, so kind of keep that in mind. It's inconclusive as far as that is concerned, whether or not the uncommons are also in the stage 1 box, because I can't check it right now, but I do believe that that is the case, and this is going to scale like any of these other modes. So if you go all the way to the final one, you're going to see the uncommon one there at the top, but then you can also get 2 golden hammers, and that is going to be another method you can use. Now keep in mind, however, that you are not guaranteed to get these for clearing this and getting these boxes, so this isn't a kind of 100% guarantee that you're going to get hammers dropped from this, and it is going to require you to play this multiple times. Luckily, you can auto clear it after doing the first run of the day, so you don't have to sit here and do this 3 times. But this is another method that you can use in order to get your hammers just on a more random chance. So that is the first method to get these boxes. The next one that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is going to be actually in your guild raid. Now, if you go over to your guild raid, I'll show you guys that you can also get, if you go over here and take a look, I think I went ahead and saved this. Yes, I did. So if you take a look here, these are going to be my prizes for the day. And as you can see, for doing the guild raid, you do have the chance of also getting your hammers from these boxes, as well as the spark plugs that you can unpair your stones from your character with. So this is another method that you can use. Now again, it is not guaranteed that you are going to get these from these rewards, but I definitely recommend that you go in here and you try your best with this, because as you can see, each one of these is going to have a different chance of dropping different hammers, and I do believe that this starts at the level 4 box or the level 5 box. So we'll go ahead and we'll confirm that real quick. So level 4, you start getting the common and uncommon. Level 5, you'll start getting the rare enhancement hammers added into the pool, and then I believe from there, you're basically just looking at your hammers for your commons and your uncommons for the most part in some of these lower tier ones. So basically, my recommendation, always try to do this as best you can each and every single day for your guild, but try to do starting at hard if you can, that one with your keys instead of doing normal and easy. Now of course some players that are new aren't going to have the ability to score very high in hard or expert or lunatic for that matter, But again, kind of like we talked about with some of these other modes, just do the best you can. You're not racing anyone, you're not under the gun for anything. You'll eventually be able to build up your roster and work your way towards some of these higher end loot boxes. But this is another way that you can get these, albeit on a random chance. And that is another way and another reason why you'll see a lot of veteran players that have so many hammers saved up, is because they're able to do some of this type of content here. And that is pretty much going to be how you can acquire hammers in the King of Fighters Allstar, guys. There aren't a lot of different options that you have, and there are going to be some other options, as I mentioned in the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, that may or may not be available at the time whenever you are watching this. So keep that in mind, that there will be time-limited events where you can get more hammers each and every single day. So this isn't necessarily going to be comprehensive for you in the future if you are watching this a couple of months down the road potentially, as there might be events running at the time that are going to also give hammers. But these are going to be the permanent avenues that you can use in order to acquire these. So I hope you guys found this beneficial. I know a lot of people have asked about this. I do think that it is worth noting. I think a lot of people out there, for whatever reason, feel like there's some sort of secret to hammer farming, and there's really not. As you can tell from the things we've gone into in this video today, a lot of the different ways that you are able to get hammers and the different events that are going to drop hammers are going to be more so considered endgame or high level content. So for you as a new player, you are very limited and hamstrung on the different ways that you can acquire these things, and that's probably why you feel as though there might be some sort of secret to this, but there's really truly not. It just comes down to you get rewarded more and more depending on what your level is. The higher your level of your characters, of your account, so on and so forth, you'll be able to go through and do a lot more of this content and get more of these items that are going to be more sought after. So just take your time, never force content, just try to do the best that you can at the level you're at. And eventually you will get to the point where you're able to get these things more reliably each day. But that's the video today, guys. I hope you found it beneficial. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I hope I didn't miss anything here. I'm pretty sure that I've got pretty much all the permanent methods of getting these. But if there are, I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comment section. But until the next time, guys, enjoy, have fun, be safe out there. I appreciate all of you. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.